If you were a kid, you probably watched Yu-Gi-Oh! And you knew it's all about dual monsters, which are cards that are based on an ancient game, according to the show that was done in Egypt, where these dual monsters, these cards, were actually spirits. And these spirits were summoned in battle to each other. This was a game of sorcerers. Now, Yu-Gi-Oh was not short of no occult science and wisdom, and there's a reason why the Christian fanaticals were really afraid of this show. And they did get it right. They got half of it right, which is that this show really does show demons. This really portray the occult. But we have to understand that a lot of these animes, cartoons that we watch, even films, they have spiritual messages to us. They're part of the collective unconscious. They have hidden spiritual insight to us. So I'm going to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Which you probably saw as a kid, and talk about the spiritual downloads that they offer, the spiritual insight that they offer. First and foremost, when we look at the character Yugi, right? And I'm just loving this deck here. We are looking at somebody who has a Millennium Puzzle. The Millennium Puzzle is a pyramid and it has a sacred eye. This eye is the eye of Horus. Could also be the eye of Ra, depending on how you see it, right? The eye of Horus and the eye of Ra, one faces the left, one faces the right. They both give us spiritual insight. They give us a third eye opening. They give us spiritual awareness of one's energy. And when we look at the show, Yu-Gi-Oh has a Millennium Eye. It has the sacred piece, and the puzzle is there. The puzzle connects him to an ancient pharaoh. That pharaoh has lived through life after life, and I'm going to argue that that's Yu-Gi-Oh's higher self. He is in possession. A lot of people were saying that that's the possession of a spirit, and the Christian fanaticals were going crazy. I would say that's his higher self speaking to him, because that's a more confident version of him. That's a more self-assured version of him. And through working together, they were able to move forward. It was also shown in the end of season 1 after Yu-Gi-Oh! Beat Pegasus, spoiler alert, that Yu-Gi-Oh's higher self came down here, or that spirit, that pharaoh in the Millennium Puzzle, to fight against anybody who misuses these card games, that misuses the Millennium Eyes. So Yu-Gi-Oh is here reincarnating for a spiritual purpose, a spiritual reason, to fulfill a role that he has fulfilled in every life. Now, that show is talking about you. You have a higher self. You have a higher consciousness. You have a higher being. And you are here to fulfill something in your role, something in your life that you have fulfilled time and time and time again. You are here to be in your highest state, to listen to your higher self. As well, Yu-Gi-Oh shows the third eye, right? You ever see when he's playing the games, his third eye will glow up. There'll be a yellow light in his eye that comes forward when he gets a spiritual insight, a spiritual illumination. This is talking about the third eye chakra. This is where we see everything. When you work on your third eye consciousness, when you expand on your third eye, this is where you are able to see people's energy, where you have psychic insight, where you are able to see the veil between all other sides. And then you have Pegasus, right, from season 1, who has the Millennium Eye. Now, the Millennium Eye is crazy. It was on his left or right side, I forgot. But the important thing is that this talks about the all-seeing eye. Now, everybody's going to say, oh, no, the all-seeing eye that's in the dollar bill, Illuminati. Yo, move on from that. The all-seeing eye was there beforehand. That is the eye of Ra, the eye of Horus. This show, it will really give you a lot of insight when it comes to Chemetics, Egyptian culture, the Egyptian gods. I mean, in some of the episodes, they even show you photos of Osiris, Anubis, and Isis, and there's even cards later on in the show as the generations go on where you have the dragon of Ra. Ra is the sun god. All right, so this show will really teach you a lot about Egyptian culture and mythology in its own way. It will give you a lot of psychic insight. But going back to Pegasus, my boy was able to read people's thoughts, was able to know people's card games or card plays right before it went. And that's because he was able to go into their head. Now, that's something that people can do. That's what psychics do, right? They read your thoughts. They feel energy. They pick up your vibe. They pick up what you're thinking about, what you're focusing your energy on. This show was nothing short of the truth. Now, we also got the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. These are demons. These are monsters. You have the Black Magician, the Blue Eyes White Dragons. Honestly, this show was teaching you how to evoke spirits and how to use them strategically, or how to, let me take that word back, use. How to work with them strategically because we're building relationships with them. And in the show, that's a constant theme. Are the cards real? Are these dual monsters fake or real? And Yu-Gi-Oh! Throughout the show realizes that these are actual beings. He builds relationships with them and bonds with them. So I want to extend that to how Yu-Gi-Oh! Teaches us how to read tarot cards. When we look at the major arcana or any of the figures, right? Like, for example, here we have the Chariot. Here we have the Magician. We could compare that to the Dark Magician real quick. These cards are archetypes, yes. They symbolize a passage in our lives, but what if I told you that these are actual spirits too? Now, I remember when I got told that when I first started doing tarot, I had a coworker tell me who, was never into tarot, but new family members tell me, hey, you got to know that there's spirits in these cards. I was like, yeah, there are. I didn't deny it, but I that was before I started having more of a psychic link to understanding what the purpose of tarot is. There's spirits when, first of all, you're evoking, right? When you're channeling for somebody, reading cards for somebody, and you're also connecting to your spirits through the cards. But also, you can actually meditate and focus on the Magician, focus on the Chariot. Ask the Chariot, what insight and information do you have to tell me? Ask the Magician, why are you showing up right now? Or you could even go here to the Fool. Ask the Fool card. Why are you showing up? What are you trying to show me? What is your wisdom? What is your medicine? What is your psychic insight? The reason why this show really touched me as a tarot reader is because one of the themes is lessons is to believe in the heart of the cards, understanding that these cards are alive and they're their own consciousness. In the show, there was often so many times where the main character Yu-Gi-Oh was about to lose and he didn't know what his next player move was, and the game is randomly shuffled. So even though you can plan strategically on how you're going to fight somebody through the cards or how you're going to beat their monsters through your own cards, and this also has spells in it, right? You have to just kind of do random draws. Of course, nothing is ever random, and that's what tarot teaches us. These cards that drop are not random. They're there for a reason. We have to understand that the tarot has a heart. So if you read tarot for yourself or for others, understand that the cards have a heart. They have a consciousness. They have a being. Now, let's get into something else. We got the Shadow Realm, yo. Oh, the Shadow Realm. The Shadow Realm had me shook. In Comedics, in Egyptian mythology, we're talking about the realm where Anubis is at. That is the realm of the underworld. That is where the soul goes, the spirit goes. The Shadow Realm is where we would call that the Duat in Egyptian culture. This is where the spirits that did not ascend will stay down low. And a lot of the villains in the show will drag people into the Shadow Realm. Even Yu-Gi-Oh does it to other people. And this is just talking about the fear of what's under there, but also the fear of being stuck, the fear of being trapped, the fear of being powerless. And throughout the show, Yu-Gi-Oh has to rely on his higher self. He's always betting on his soul, his spirit. Because if he loses the game, these villains was like, I'm betting that your spirit is going to be snatched and taken from me, taken to the Shadow Realm. So this is really about trusting your higher self and not being sent into the underworld. Now, when we're talking about the underworld, we're not talking about the hell, like as seen as in Abrahamic religion. This is talking about the underworld of thought, of feeling. This is when you sink into a low vibe. This is about despair. This is about falling into the frequency of despair. Yu-Gi-Oh is some real stuff. So I really want to invite you to look at that show again and understand that it comes from a different context. A lot of these anime really have some spiritual downloads and insights. Even Sailor Moon, let's talk about Sailor Moon. If y'all want me to do a video on Sailor Moon, I can do it. They're all representations of the zodiac, astrology, and all the villains use capitalistic tools. They use different efforts to create a lot of collective attention, and they drain their energy from it to harvest something new. What do you think they're doing right now? What do you think the institutions do? They're harvesting energy by keeping people in a low frequency. All right? So I'm thinking about Dragon Ball Z too. You have the 7 Dragon Balls, the 7 chakras, the dragon. The dragon is the serpent, the Kundalini, all right? Hunter x Hunter. Yo, if y'all watch these anime, let me know in the comments below. And if you want me to keep going on this, I will. I'll make more Yu-Gi-Oh videos because I just finished rewatching season 1, which I loved. But when we look at Hunter x Hunter, The ability to use Nen, that's manipulating energy. That's talking about what we can do in the astral plane. When somebody does Reiki, they're sending you energy, right? That's all Hunter x Hunter does. It sends energy, but it doesn't send energy to heal. It sends energy to battle. And you can do that. Intention setting, alchemy, that's all real. In the astral plane, whatever you visualize can happen. So obviously be careful. But this is the energy of alchemy. This is where what you visualize, what you direct your energy through, is going to create currents in the astral plane. That's what Hunter x Hunter is about. So this was a little bit about Yu-Gi-Oh! I can do more videos if y'all want me to, or if y'all want to tell me what shows you've watched when you were younger that really brought up a lot of spiritual insight and downloads for you. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for tuning in. My name is AstroPapi, and yeah, yo, I'm loving these Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. I might even use them to do some videos with real soon. So be on the lookout, all right? Stay beautiful, stay abundant, stay great.